What's going on? My name is Psyche and welcome back to Dead Cells. Today will be another guide where I talk about lifting curses. This is part of the advanced guides, which is mainly intended for players in 2 to 3 BC. So first of all, I want to talk a bit about curses. So these things is a thing that new players avoid like the plague, because if you get hit even once, you are dead. The run is finished. So to new players, I can see how this can be really intimidating, including myself, because when I first started, curses was something that I just generally avoided because the consequences of something going wrong was just too great. But as you become better and better at the game, getting curse chests becomes more and more necessary, and this is especially true at 2 BC. But over the course of your Dead Cells gameplay experience, the more curses you'll take, the more you'll actually just realize that being cursed really isn't that much of a big deal. So that's why in the 2 BC tips guide, I recommended that 2 BC players and above should always take curse chests. The reason for this is that you get an extra scroll count as well as a colorless item and some money, which can always be beneficial in your runs. So generally in one of my normal runs at 4 to 5 BC, I take 2 to 3 curse chests, which is pretty normal for more advanced players. So first of all, the locations where you take the curses from actually kind of matters, because some curses are easier to lift than others, such as the ones from Morass of the Banished, because there are a lot of small enemies and you can kill them really quickly. However, on the other hand, if you get a curse chest from the Prison Depths or the Slumbering Sanctuary, then generally these are a bit harder to lift because every single enemy in that biome will be mid-sized, so you won't have your usual rats or kamikaze bats. It's worth noting that while cursed, you die to any form of damage, including traps. The only type of damage that you don't get killed by when you're cursed is the darkness damage in the Forgotten Sepulchre. Not that you should be taking darkness damage in the first place. So basically, getting cursed, what you have to do essentially is plan your every move. If you're using a controller, you can tilt the right stick to see if there are enemies around. And on 2 to 3 BC, you don't have to worry about melees, so you can take as long as you want lifting these curses. There is no time limit on how long the curses can be lifted. Taking curse chests is essential to the growth of a Dead Cells player because it builds up your confidence. So as you get more experience with getting cursed, you basically start to see the patterns in enemy attacks, which means that you will be more likely to avoid them in the future. And doing this will allow you to get the 30 to 60 kill doors easier because you already know the enemy attack patterns and you're more confident in your gameplay. So if you're cursed, just pick out your enemies one by one. Always be mindful of your surroundings. If you see a really tough enemy, then you are allowed to just leave it and move on, since, you don't have to kill every single enemy that goes in your way. You can be choosy with your enemies while you're cursed, and always come back for the tougher enemies later on. So here is an example of me getting cursed for 20 because I took a curse in the previous biome, and since I didn't kill any enemies left in the biome, I decided to come to the Forgotten Sepulchre and take the other curse chest here. So now I have to kill 20 enemies in a row without getting hit. To a new player, this may seem daunting and intimidating, but so you see how I'm just being careful. I'm planning my moves. I'm always aware that what enemies are on my screen at all times and just pick them off one by one. It's worth noting that being cursed on 2 BC is different from being cursed at 4 BC, because on 4 to 5 BC, most enemies will teleport to your location. And also, the player cannot use the homunculus rune while you're cursed, so the move where you detach your head. This is to prevent players from getting free kills, which kinda makes sense. But it doesn't really work at 4 BC considering enemies will teleport to you. If you're in a biome that contains some platforming such as Graveyard, Forgotten Sepulchre, then generally speaking you can do some scouting before you take the curse chest. And make sure that you clear the platforming puzzles first, so that you don't run the risk of dying instantly to a spike trap. So you see here just dodging every single attack, being mindful of what enemies will teleport to me, and eventually the curse is cleared. So here in this clip, I got really low on health, but I found the curse chest in the Slumbering Sanctuary. So at this point I just thought, well, I was either gonna lift this curse or I was gonna die. So here you'll see that I'm being careful not to aggro the elite enemy because elites are much harder to kill than normal enemies and there is more chance of something going wrong. So generally speaking, it's in your best interest to not aggro elites while you are cursed. And like I said before, there is no time limit. You can take as long as you want lifting these curses, and as long as you keep taking them, you will grow as a player. So that's going to be it for this quick curse guide in Dead Cells. Basically, the main points is that new players should definitely take curse chests, even though they can be a bit intimidating at first. And really, taking curse chests is just another game mechanic. It's basically the same of being on 1 health at any time. And again, I cannot emphasize this enough, but taking curse chests will contribute to your growth as a player. So that's going to be it for this guide. Hopefully I'll make a bit more until the new Fatal Falls DLC comes out. And as for the biome/routing guide, I will wait till the new DLC comes out so I can make a more updated version. So that's going to be it for now. Thanks for watching.